So right now in the UFC there are a lot of great strikers, and in this video I have decided which ones are the best in each weight class. And all of this is of course 100% factual, and I'm gonna start with the lower weight classes and work my way up to the blobs. So in flyweight we have Steve Erceg, bedtime MMA himself. This guy got brutally robbed against Pantoja, and unfortunately the fans also got robbed of the Erceg era. Steve Erceg is a really good striker, his boxing is phenomenal, his punches are fast, powerful, sharp and precise. And I personally don't think there is a striker as good as him in flyweight. He also has great counters, but he doesn't really throw that many kicks, so he's more of a fighter with a boxing style. And I guess some people might try to argue that Kai Kara-France or something like that is a better striker, which I would obviously disagree with, but we are gonna see who is the better striker because they are gonna fight. But in my opinion, I do think that Erceg will win. I think his boxing is at such a high level that even if he doesn't throw kicks, he is still able to land the more significant shots. And I think most people think this guy should be champion right now. As I said, he got brutally robbed in his fight against Pantoja, and it was arguably a 4-1 in Erceg's favor. So next in bantamweight, you have to go with Sean O'Malley. There isn't really anyone else. You could arguably say Jan, but then again, I thought Jan actually got slightly outstruck by O'Malley in their fight. Anyways, Sean O'Malley is a guy who has made some life choices that I don't agree with, and the guy has a real boring personality. But the way this guy fights turns a hater like me into a fan. He throws spinning kicks, high kicks, and dribbles on his opponents. He's very fast too. Fastest guy in the division, I would say by far. Great footwork, great feints, great power. Honestly, I can just list things he's very good at forever. He also fights very well from both stances when going backwards or forwards. I would probably say he's the most versatile striker in the UFC, because when fighting this guy, you always have to worry about something. A spinning back kick, a teep, counters, everything, man. His last fight against Vera was crazy too. O'Malley literally gave Vera a facial surgery. Vera looked like a completely different person after that fight. Plus, that Aljo knockout is literally one of the coolest knockouts of all time in my opinion. Literally face planted him. So next in featherweight we have Ilia Topuria, and the reason I put Topuria over Volk is because first of all, Topuria knocked out Volk, which is very impressive, and the other reason is because I believe Topuria's style works better against different styles of striking. If Topuria is being outstruck, he is still able to find the shin of his opponent and knock them out, because of his fight IQ in boxing. And that said, Topuria is basically a striker who mainly uses his boxing. He's a shorter pressure striker, so he mostly moves forward on people. He uses a lot of slips and often counters off the opponent's punches. For example, if someone throws out a jab, he will slip to the inside and come over the jab with a right hand. He also has some really solid power combined with crisp combinations. However, Topuria does have one pretty obvious weakness though, which is the leg kicks. He stands very heavy on his lead leg in order to optimize his boxing, but this also makes it harder for him to check the leg kicks. We actually saw this in his Volkanovski fight, where Volk managed to land a lot of kicks before he got knocked out. So I would say Ilia is a really good striker, but he isn't as versatile as someone like O'Malley. And in lightweight, it is actually a little harder to pick out the best striker, because it's actually quite stacked when it comes to the strikers. We have like Makhachev, Poirier, Gaethje, and Fiziev. But in my opinion, which is always 100% correct and factual, I have to say that it is Jerome Holloway. Using the good old reliable MMA math, Gaethje beat Poirier and Holloway schooled Gaethje. And that's basically how it goes. I know people are gonna say that it should be Makhachev at lightweight, and Makhachev is a really solid striker, but we can't ignore the threat of the takedown. The takedown threat is a significant factor when it comes to his striking. If Makhachev wasn't such a good wrestler, his striking simply wouldn't be as effective. Anyways, Max Holloway's last fight against Gaethje was insane, man. He smoked Gaethje, and most people believed, including myself, that Gaethje would be the one to school Max. And the ending sequence of that fight was also insane. Jerome Holloway is basically the main character of the UFC. Max has nice boxing combined with nice kicks too, but the one thing that really stands out is his cardio and his shin. His power isn't really that crazy even though he flatlined Gaethje. He's mainly a volume striker that keeps the same pace throughout the whole fight. Even though Max is a technical volume striker, his shin does allow him to get scrappy sometimes. We could also talk about his fight against Calvin Kattar, although that one was at featherweight, but that fight was also crazy. Anyways, Jerome Holloway at lightweight. And next in welterweight, we actually have the Giga Chad himself, Ian Machado Gary. Nah, I'm joking, guys. It really comes down to two people, and that is Leon Edwards and Jack Della Maddalena. And JDM has nice boxing and all, but Edwards is so much more complete as a striker in my opinion, and I do believe he is the best striker in welterweight. Edwards is a master of fundamentals. He literally does everything textbook. In my opinion, he is the perfect example of perfect technique. He has zero telegraph on his punches and kicks. His chin is a little sketchy though, and he does usually slow down as the rounds go by. He isn't super powerful either, even though he KO'd Usman. Again, like Holloway, he's more of a volume striker, but as I said before, he is very technical. And a lot of people actually think Leon Edwards' fighting style is kinda boring, but as real striking enthusiasts, all appreciate Leon Edwards' fighting style. So, in middleweight, I think you have to go with Deshaun Strickland, because hear me out, Adesanya got completely walked down by Strickland, and I do think you could make a pretty good argument that Whittaker is the best striker, because he does put on masterclasses in his fights. The guy schooled Cannonier, Vettori, Costa, and knocked out Aliskerov in the first round, so performance-wise, he is superior to Strickland. But I think Strickland has a style of striking that just works very well against a lot of people. He has the best defense in MMA, he isn't too powerful, but he gets the job done. Basically, Strickland is a jab, straight, and a teep, then all defense. He also stands very tall and narrow, and you don't really see people stand like that in MMA because of the takedown threat. And I feel like that style of striking shouldn't work in MMA, but it does. Strickland also has great cardio, so he can put it on for 5 rounds. However, again, some people do believe that Strickland's fights are a little bit boring, and I'm in slight agreement of that, but it honestly isn't his fault. We can look at the Costa fight, for example. Costa's way to victory would be to pressure Strickland and push forward, like Dricus did, but instead Costa chose not to engage, and if you fight Strickland's fight, Strickland is gonna win. I will say though, Strickland, you're kinda ducking Whittaker right now, so please fight him. And light heavyweight, to no one's surprise, we have Alex Pereira. I hope no one tries to argue with me on this one. If you don't think Alex Pereira is the best striker in light heavyweight, you're a dummy. Alex Pereira is a former double glory kickboxing world champion. He's also considered one of the GOATs in kickboxing by many. The guy is just insane, man. His power is absolutely crazy. He literally sleeps everyone with that left hook. But besides his power, he's also a very technical striker with a great understanding of striking. A lot of people only remember Israel the Dogbender Adesanya knocking him out, but up to that point, Pereira was clearly outlanding Adesanya. It's also quite fascinating how he's very unorthodox in his style, but he still makes it work somehow. For example, his leg kicks. His leg kicks are really weird, but they also work very well because he throws them with zero telegraph. I guess the only weak point Pereira has is that he doesn't move his head too much, so his defense isn't the best, but his chin makes up for the times he does get hit. And next we have heavyweight, and the best striker in heavyweight is not Jon Jones. It is Tom Aspinall. I guess you could argue that Cyril Gane is the best striker, but I would disagree. I think Aspinall is way more dangerous on the feet and is not a coward who ducks his opponents. Aspinall is fast and powerful on the feet, and his best weapon is his boxing. He also has a nice head movement. Basically, at this point I have nothing more to say about him, so I'm just gonna turn this into a Jon Jones slandering section. Jon Jones, stop ducking Aspinall. Don't fight old man Stipe, the guy is like 40 or something. He isn't even coming off a win, and he hasn't fought in a good while. Jon Jones, this is the first time in history that the world champion is ducking the interim champion. It is absolutely disgraceful. But with the type of stuff he be up to, it doesn't surprise me at all. Anyways, I got a little off topic towards the end, but the truth has to be said sometimes. And before I end this video, I just want to thank all of my subscribers. We had 200 subs not too long ago. And that said, thank you all for watching. Leave a like, subscribe, share to friends and family, and comment if you disagree with this video or not. And I'll see you all in the next one. Goodbye.